there any other questions? Or?
There's a couple questions. So why are you using a BeagleBoard font building instead of cross-compiling?
Mostly it was just to see if it could be done, and was most of it. The other thing was just to keep it all native, so there is no cross-compiling of any packages. It's just like Debian builds the network, where everything's native built, all packages. To give you some ideas, it does take about 6 to 7 hours on the Beagle to actually build a full kernel, so it really taxes the Beagle and kind of shows how stable it actually is.
And so what all are you building on the Beagle? Are you only building the kernel?
Packages like the OMAP FP device drivers for the XOR, those are all built on the Beagle. Doing a lot of GCC testing, that's all built on the Beagle. I'm planning to open up a type of a PPA network, so as more users want to build more projects, they can just submit to DSD, and I can actually provide them a dev package now. So I'm hoping to launch that in a week or two, but we'll see.
So how would somebody get access to that?
Just send me an email. I'll give them SSH access. The cable modem is a little painful, but it works.
So are all these binaries, are you building them targeting ARM v5 or ARM v7? Or what instructions?
Right now, it's whatever version of that distro it released. In fact, as of this morning, Carmack or 910, the patch for ARM version 6 just went in, and we should see ARM 6 binaries in about a week and a half. So we can finally move from ARM version 5, whereas, of course, Debian is ARM version 4. So.
So is the merge window for 9.10 completely missed?
As far as the kernel or the general packages, I know they're in Alpha 6 as of like this Thursday, so it's frozen as of this week. But there will be PPAs available for other people who want to include more stuff in Ubuntu. I think 10.04 is going to be the big launch as far as the Beagle. Now, right now, most of their support is only Freescale-based stuff. They're baggage boards.
So are you doing any use of ice cream or for parallel compilation?
Sure, that actually is a read on IRC. Basically, it's just a bunch of chroots. So basically, have a standard DSC file. You send it to the chroot, and it just builds it just like a build Damien. So.
Is it possible for me to purchase any SD cards or anything pre-configured with Ubuntu to give me a quick start? Are there any solutions like that?
I don't think anyone's created the SD images yet. I do have a new hosting option, so I'm going to see about hosting some 100 meg files at least. So we'll see how that goes about next week. It'll just basically be a base image with no GUI, just enough to get it booted.
Would you then be able to download additional packages to enable the GUI?
Yep. It'll just be apt-get. So once you have the OS running, as long as you have an Ethernet connection, apt-get install GDM and XFX sites. So it's just basically like regular Ubuntu.
Maybe there's a net split, because I expected there to be a lot more questions around Ubuntu. Of course, you gave us a very quick presentation on this.
Yeah.
That's good. Any other questions we can field from folks on the phone or folks on the IRC channel? Okay, we actually have another 7 minutes before the next presentation.
Okay, I have a question about the
Sure.
Ubuntu. How much of the code that you have, especially like applications and things like that are portable? I mean, because of the ARM versus x86 and things like that, because I know your stuff's all over different processors, so how do you make arrangements for that?
Well, the way the builds and networks are set up, that any package will be built for whatever architecture. And as long as it's in some kind of software package, it'll run on any x86, any ARM package. I mean, like Python's a good example where you build a Python GUI on x86, you run it on ARM with really no changes. And since it's the same Ubuntu version, even more stuff works.
Oh, okay, I see. So there's a whole layer of stuff that you do. Because I don't really know that much about Ubuntu. All I know was it was mostly for the PC hardware, x86 hardware.
It's the same software releases. I mean, when the 904 and the 910, when the 910 release is released in a couple of months, all the same package versions will be built for ARM, x86, PowerPC, and so cross-platforms, you're all in the same versions, just built in their own environments. It really helps for compatibility between that.
Oh, okay, that's cool. All right.
So as long as it isn't something that has to be built with a compiler, it's pretty much, you just rebuild it on the new system.
Oh, okay, cool.
One of the advantages of that is, of course, if you have a user using like an x86 laptop, also when an ARM laptop comes up, you run the same software. So it really helps the transition, and it doesn't really matter what the CPU is anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So what packages have you had success building, and have you had any challenges with some packages? Have you tried to do a complete distribution build, or are you aware of anyone who has tried to do a complete distribution build on a Beagle?
Did give a shot, like trying to do a rebuild of Fedora at ARM version 7, but that kind of ended up being a big mess. But usually the problem is in GCC and Java. So one of the projects I'm working on right now is I have the test suite running for GCC just to make sure it works for ARM version 7, the next couple versions. There's basically daily rebuilds, and usually been the biggest problem.
There's one question. What do I run on a 4-inch LCD with Ubuntu?
Probably LXKDE or some really small GUI. That's the option.
So LXKDE is an option that can be apt-get installed?
Yeah, it's the least memory intensive GUI application, and it is made for pretty small screens. Ubuntu is so much of a desktop and something, but
Thank you, Robert, very much for giving us this presentation. Really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
I'll stay on IRC if there's any more questions too. So.
Okay, great.